Hello, everyone. This is Rick with the Cyber Pro podcast, where industry leaders share their insights. It's about 5 questions and hopefully under 9 minutes because hackers never sleep. I'm super excited for SK today. SK, tell us who you are and what do you do?
Hi, Rick. Thanks for the opportunity. I am SK Panda. I actually am the global head of Lumen Digital Ventures. Lumen Digital Ventures is the innovation arm of Lumen, and we essentially help startups grow. We help them figure out what's the best way to move fast in the market that they are in, and we help them with digital solutions, investment strategies, and the like. Personally, I'm a runner. I'm a wannabe entrepreneur. I am a startup mentor, advisor, and a lot of other things. So that's me.
Do you have time to do anything else?
Time is always a luxury, right? It's a challenge.
Nice. Well, that's awesome to meet you. Question number 2 is really kind of, why do you love being a cyber professional?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. My break into the cyber world started back with Sony. This was back in 2007, 2008. I got into PCI compliance. At that time, it was PCI DSS 1.2, and got into this whole idea about how do you structure proper cybersecurity frameworks that allow you to stay ahead of hackers. And it's always about the fact that they need to be right once, whereas you need to be right all the time. So the whole idea about having a structure, defending your assets, and making sure that they don't succeed. There is an element of competition here, but there's also an element of being structured in how you respond to the threats that are out there that you're not even aware of. So there's a little bit of that competitive juice that gets you going and staying ahead of the fray.
No, and that makes sense, especially, if you're a runner and you're doing other things, the competition piece is and always has been, why I love this area. And I was a coach for years, and this is kind of the same feel. So
yeah.
We hear the buzzword cybersecurity all the time, and it's a top concern or top of mind. And I do the air quotes and I kind of laugh at that. But what does cybersecurity as a top concern mean to you?
Yeah, what it definitely means is that there is an element of challenge that exists out there that's not visible to you that can literally shut down your business. So what that means is it can be a massive issue if somebody steals consumer data that you hold, or it impacts your brand, or you're liable to be fined, or you're liable to cede territory to other brands, other competitors that are in your space. So the challenges are really a multiplication or a factor of the industry that you are in, and the loyalty and the trust that consumers impose on you. So it's a mix of factors. So you could be in an industry where cybersecurity may impact you a little more than others, but there's this research done recently last year, which basically said most of the companies just are not aware when they will be hacked, or something to that effect, which is that everybody is a target. You just need to know how deep you are wading in the water. Is it just you're dipping your toe, you're knee deep, or you are waist deep, and you got to figure that out by doing the right things and taking steps to protect yourself.
Or you're drowning and you need somebody to pull you out of the water.
Right. That's right.
Fair enough. So SK, tell our community, share with us a piece of insight that you think is important.
Yeah, I think when the challenges are monumental, and this comes from my operations and engineering background. I ran global operations for Expedia for a bit, and then I also managed Kaiser's network infrastructure, all of their 600 plus locations. And when you're faced with monumental tasks, then I default to keep it simple. Because if you keep it simple, you have a clear vision, a clear path. And I'm a big idle nerd. ITIL is not that in vogue right now, but I've always been a big ITIL nerd because it was simple. And one of the takeaways for me has always been the acronym PDCA, plan, do, check, action. So the best way to tackle an onslaught of what could happen as a cybersecurity threat, or bits and nudges happening in somewhere in your ecosystem, you got to have a plan, and you got to execute towards the plan. You got to continuously check towards what you're doing, and you got to act on finally the baseline. So from a planning perspective, I would say create a vulnerability management framework. Understand your threat landscape. What is it, right? What industry you are in? How do you expose yourself to the outside world? And understand your threat landscape and create a vulnerability management framework related to that. Layer on automation tools, because people can only do so much. So how do you become intelligent and plan towards a good technology and people and process collaboration that works to your advantage? Then do what you set out, what you plan, actually enforce it. Most of the organizations plan very well, they create budgets, they bring on these tools, but the execution on the doing part suffers. And there's either a lack of emphasis on the execution, or this little bit of what I would call as a complacency in not doing a specific task rigorously. You have to perform what you set out to do. So that's the second most important step. The third piece is checking and consistently figuring out what you plan to do and what you executed. How is it reporting? So various organizations have different ways of measuring it. You will hear about KPIs, OPIs. So do what's right for your organization. There is no true magic bullet there, but figure out a way to measure that what you planned and what you executed, is it meeting your requirements, right? And consistently stay ahead of that. And then finally, act, which is the piece where you are essentially changing your baseline. So what you set out to do in your plan, do, check, you must now be a step above, because you've performed those 3 steps to become better. So if you're not becoming better, then there's a problem with either the planning, the doing, or the checking, right? So then you're continuously becoming better by performing the PDCA, what I call as the plan, do, check, action steps. And I feel like keeping it simple, keeping it nimble, allowing yourself to pivot when things are not working is probably one of the best things you can do in navigating this landscape.
That's exceptional insight. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm going to use that now. So I took some notes, so we're good. So
Right.
SK, fun question for you. What's your favorite piece of retro technology that makes you smile?
Yeah, I'll go very simple here. We talked about this just now, right? You were having difficulty in hearing me. This guy has saved my bacon so many times because it just makes it so simple. It's the Sennheiser speaker, and we have gotten so accustomed to talking on Zoom and Teams and WebEx, and I'm constantly on the road, and this is a lifesaver to me. So I don't have any any fun retro things to share with you, but that is a lifesaver. That puck is a lifesaver.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for being on the Cyber Pro podcast.
Thank you, Rick. Appreciate the opportunity.
You did it. You made it to the end. Thanks for watching the Cyber Pro podcast. Check us out for more content.